Hi, good day, everyone. My name is Akim Green. I'm from the newsroom. This weekend, we have lots of football, lots of international football finals. Actually, two big football finals. That is the Copa America final between Argentina and Brazil on Saturday at 8 p.m. And then on Sunday, the big Euro final. England, is it coming home or is it going to Rome? As England will play Italy in that final from 3 p.m. With me to discuss how those matches may go is national footballer Jeremy Garrett and Duncan Soller, journalist at Starbuck News. Duncan, let's start with the Copa because that's going to be on Saturday night. I'm sure everyone may be bustling home to get home to watch that final. Messi against the defending champions. How do you see that one playing out?
Well, historically, Brazil has the advantage in this matchup, head-to-head wise. The last five meetings, they lead 3-2, and they've also never lost a final in Brazil at the Copa America. So, obviously, the safer choice would be Brazil. But sentimentally, I'm in the side of the Albiceleste.
Jeremy, from a player perspective, you know what expectations. Tell me, with all that is said about Messi and the great debate about who is the greatest footballer to have played the game, he must be under extreme pressure as he heads into
Extreme.
a big final like this.
Yeah, I think the pressure is on Messi to deliver. I think it's about time he actually bring home an international trophy. I'm in favor of him for the finals and Argentina. I think they will do it.
Apart from Messi, what gives you that confidence that
I think the
it will be
team Argentina have been playing well. They've showed a lot of dominance throughout the tournament. I mean, the last semi-final they won on penalties, but that didn't disregard their good performance. And I think, just as you said, as a player, I think Messi has a lot to carry here, and I'm eager that he's going to deliver.
On the flip side of that, there's Neymar. If you talk about Messi expectations, there's maybe the greatest football loving country in the world is Brazil. We all know what happened since that 7-1 trashing, you would say, at the hands of Germany. But Neymar has a point to prove as well, you would think.
Yes, I think so, but still, I'm gonna always go in favor of Messi for this one. I think if you've been anybody who've been watching the Copa America would tell you that look, Messi is ready for this final.
You believe, Duncan, that's going to be the fine and play in this fixture between how those two teams look to play against each other and also those two key players?
I think for neutrals, as Jeremy would have said, they would want Messi to win. I guess this is fifth final. He's 0-4. So obviously you would like him to at least win a senior international trophy. He has an under 20, he has an Olympic gold medal with Argentina. But structurally, Brazil is a better team. You can't run away from that fact. And then they're playing at home. The only solace Argentina has is that there won't be no fans in the stadium, so the game will be much closer. Statistically, Brazil is the best team on offense and defense in this tournament, but surprisingly, Argentina is number 2 in both categories. Mm-hmm. However, Messi has been the best player in the tournament. 4 goals, leading scorer. He also has 5 assists, which makes him the leading provider as well. So everything is going to be on him. Argentina is a good squad, but Brazil is slightly better.
Just on that aspect, we know from a tactic part, there's going to be a lot of man marking of those two players. Do you believe that could open up the door for other key players in either of the two teams to step up and produce the key goals that will be needed?
Of course, especially in Brazil's case, because if you look at their goal scoring charts, Neymar only has 2 goals. The next best scorer also has 2 in Lucas Paqueta, but they've had 8 scores throughout the entire tournament. So that means that the burden doesn't fall necessarily on one player. Argentina, on the other hand, only has 5 scorers across 6 games in the tournament. So that issue of man marking or zonal marking can be a problem for them. Argentina specifically more than Brazil.
What kind of play you're expecting from Argentina, Germany?
I'm expecting a more attacking football coming out on Saturday. I expect Argentina to look to dominate everything in the final third. I think with Messi up front in this final is going to be a lot more because he have different players around him than previous tournaments. So I think I'm looking forward for much more attacking football from Argentina to deliver in the final third.
On delivering on that note, how do you see the in terms of scoreline? Everybody wants to know the scoreline. You were at finish line express when you get to that, but in terms of scoreline, how do you see the scoreline going?
I favor Argentina 2-1 over Brazil. 2-1 over Brazil.
Duncan?
I'm not going to give a score line. I believe Brazil is going to win. It's a safer choice, but I would love for Argentina to at least take one home from Messi.
Well, what more sort anyone who has me social media will know I'm, great fan of, Messi, but he's gonna have to go 5-0. That Brazil certainly are gonna win this Copa America. Defending champions, the best team in the world in my opinion. But when you get to that now, as you move into the Euro competition,
Oh,
great final. I would say one of the best teams in two teams that have really had good solid blocks in defense in England and Italy in this tournament. On the flip side, one would agree, both of you would agree, that England has had the better pathway to the final, or maybe the easier pathway to the final based on the draws. Italy had to take down some serious opponents to get to the final.
I think
But
England too. England
the,
too.
the, the Italian side, Duncan, as you're wearing, we already know where your heart lies.
It's coming to Rome. It's coming to Rome.
They seem to be the side to win this one.
It's coming to Rome. Definitely, it's coming to Rome. As you said, the path with England was much easier, and that has to do with the format. The format still hasn't been worked out properly because England actually had an easier route basically to navigate, especially with the upsets that occurred on their bracket versus a team like Italy who had to play Belgium and Spain and possibly Netherlands had they progressed through on their bracket. So you're right. It's definitely a situation where Italy would have basically taken the beaten path versus England had the smoother sail.
I sense, Jeremy.
I don't believe in
lines
that. I honestly don't
England.
believe in such a smooth path. I think England would have showed that they've been the better team in every match they've played. I think, for example, I think it was Germany England played.
Yeah, they played Germany.
They played Germany. I think in the round of 16. That wasn't a very good match, but England came out on top, and I think England are producing with the likes of Harry Kane. Jack Grealish is having a wonderful tournament. I mean, I noticed he's coming on now. I don't know why they're not starting him, but he's coming in a lot now. But I think, England would have shown that, they've been the better team in every match.
I want to get your perspective on a tactic that Gareth Southgate has implemented since the previous World Cup, because there's a lot of talk about these guys being ready for the 2022 World Cup, and even more so 2026, given the young age. As a young player, and seeing other young players around an environment, and there's some seniors as well, does that exude a lot of confidence in you, knowing that management, everyone is backing you? Is that something that really makes you perform better on the field? Because the England side is doing that.
Yeah, I think it's good to involve youths in a team, have the good chemistry and the good blend with youths and senior. And as you can see, look at Phil Foden. Look at his performance in the Champions League. And for England right now, I think he's doing a wonderful job, and that just shows how inspirational a youth can be when he's molded correctly with the senior players. So for me, the system that Gareth Southgate is using to involve the youths is brilliant. It's brilliant. You can see each and every one of them is producing, from Jadon Sancho, Phil Foden, every other player. Everybody's carrying their own weight.
Duncan, how do Italy break down the pivot? Actually, both sides have played that kind of pivot football in making the two central defenders and having someone sit in front of the defense. Do you believe one side has to change to get the result? That if both sides go the same tactics they've been working throughout the tournament, it might be a dull game that goes to extra time?
No, I kind of differ on that one, because if you look at Italy, they're playing a 4-3-3 with a three-man midfield, and their best chance is to dominate the game. England use a double pivot in a 4-2-3-1, so they're basically going to sit. The only game you saw Italy play differently throughout the whole tour was against Spain, who dominated possession, and they had to revert back to their old defensive mantra to sit and counter. This game is going to match up to the Italy versus Spain game, where England's going to sit on Italy and hope to counter using the pace.
But given the double pivot that Southgate has implemented, do you believe maybe it's a hint that he doesn't trust his defenders that much?
No, well, he's taking a book out of Didier Deschamps' France team in 2018, who simply basically sit back on teams and basically counter. So his hope is, let's use this formation throughout the tournament and this system, because it has worked for them. They've only conceded one goal throughout the whole tournament. And we can argue about the quality of opposition they've faced versus Italy, who've conceded 3. But against Italy, they're coming against the highest scoring team in the tournament. So it's going to be an interesting matchup.
To defeat Duncan's team, what does England have to do?
Just play how England plays. I think they just need to keep doing exactly what they've been doing throughout the tournament. If you look at the match against Germany, spectacular performance by the English players. And I think with a performance like that against Italy, I think England has it.
And for you, what do the Italians have to do to ensure it goes to Rome?
Well, hope the referee doesn't give a soft penalty again.
Come
But
on.
I don't think that.
It was a penalty at the end of the day. The operative
was.
thing you said, soft or not, is a penalty at the
Correct.
end of the day.
Yeah, it's a penalty because the jury's still out on VAR as to whether they can overturn the decision or not if it's a clear mistake by the referee. But as Jeremy said, about England playing Germany, if they play that same performance, I don't think they'll win because if we remember the game correctly, Thomas Muller did miss several chances in the game, and Werner was guilty of what he does at Chelsea all the time. So I think if the Italy that played against Belgium shows up, they'll walk England off the park.
Yeah, I just believe as well, though, that the counter is going to be crucial for both sides, especially, how England are wanting to sit on the ball. I think if Italy find a way to go well on the counter, they could ravage England's back line. And that is something I believe they're going to be looking at. And I strongly believe that it's not coming home. It is going to Rome. But I would love to see the English side win, obviously because of my
Everybody
fan theory.
against me.
Well, let's look at history.
Everybody against
This
me.
is England's second ever final. It's 56 years since the last time they've been to the final. Italy, this is their 10th final.
In how long?
Italy's 4-2 against England in the last 6 games they've played. So, whilst England has the history of playing at Wembley, never losing a semi-final or final at Wembley, they've only played 3 times at Wembley.
That's still 100%.
And history says the Romans conquer England before. So let's see what happens again.
But Jeremy, as you wrap up, how much does that play into the mind of a player, though? History and the stats that went in the past. Is it something as young players you would look past and look, we are here now, let's make our own
Yeah, I
history?
think it's that. I don't think a lot of young players would focus on, all right, Wayne Rooney and those guys would have won it here 10 times. We should go with, no. I think they just focus on this now. This is what we have to do. Regardless of what transpired before, we have a job to do tomorrow night or tonight, whatever time it is. So, yeah.
How does the scoreline go for you?
England 1-0. England 1.
You're going to call this one? You didn't call the Copa final. but-
Yeah, I'm much more comfortable with this one. I think Italy by the odd goal. I don't think it'll be a 1-0 game though. I think Italy 2-1 at least.
I will go on the conservative side and say that it will go into extra time. I don't see a winner after the night.
Let's hope it doesn't go to penalties.
Well, then certainly
England's out.
England could be the better team there. All right, but in terms of enjoying this final, though, how are you guys looking to enjoy both finals, Saturday and Sunday, Park weekend? For you, Duncan?
Comforts of the home. I'll be at home, sitting down, watching the game. Hopefully I'll call finish line. It'll be something for me.
Well, same thing. I'll definitely be in the office at home working because persons would be at home and they're going to want things to eat. Nobody wants to move. Everybody just want to watch this game. So Finish Line Express is the place to call and order whatever you need. So I'll be working and watching the game at the same time.
Well, you've heard it there from Duncan Stoll of Starbuck News and Jeremy Garden, national football player. The consensus is that Argentina, well, he's calling Argentina, but the consensus is that Brazil is going to win at least the majority. And
Underdog,
obviously,
underdog.
I have a strong feeling that Italy are going to win this Euros.